Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are strapping in for a high-stakes look at communication. Not just how we talk, but really how we structure that talk when missions are on the line. We've pulled material from the core TeamSTEPPS training curriculum, which is all about transforming how professionals exchange critical information. Flight crews, military units, medical teams.
Right. And our mission today really is to give you the shortcut to competence. We're distilling the core concepts and the practical tools, so you can quickly grasp how this structured communication ensures safety, efficiency, and importantly, clarity.
Turning abstract goals into concrete actions.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's start right at the foundation. The sources define communication pretty clearly. It's the verbal and nonverbal process of exchanging information clearly, accurately among team members. But what's fascinating here, I think, is that it isn't just a skill. It's positioned as the foundational skill.
It is. It's listed as one of the 4 essential pillars for, highly reliable, safe, efficient care, or operations, really. And the key thing to realize is that it's the structure supporting everything else. Leadership, situation monitoring, mutual support.
So if communication fails,
Everything fails. Simple as that.
and that failure, it seems, often happens because we misunderstand the philosophy behind it. It's not just about sending a message out there. It's transaction model of communication.
Yeah, the transaction model. It's a shift in thinking. It moves beyond me just, say, shouting instructions across a room that's transmission, to us actively sitting down and building a joint understanding together. That's the transaction part. It involves 2 or more people continuously sharing information to actively, and this is the key phrase, co-create meaning.
Co-create meaning.
Okay.
So if that shared meaning isn't co-created, the team hasn't actually communicated. Doesn't matter if words were spoken.
Precisely. That shared understanding is what drives every single structured tool we're about to discuss.
So we have to move from assuming the message was sent.
Right, to verifying it was received and processed correctly. That verification step is critical.
Okay, foundation laid, shared understanding. Now let's talk about those moments of, panic. 5 seconds to convey everything you know about a critical situation. That sounds like S-bar. Now, first things first, because clarity starts right here. How do we say it? It's just S, the letter, then B-A-R, like a chocolate bar. Think T-bar, L-bar, S-bar. Got it. Okay.
Right, and that immediate clarity, even in the name, sort of hints at the whole point. Our mission today is really to figure out why this specific structure, this S-bar, works so well. I mean, it's used in really demanding fields, high-stakes stuff.
Yeah, healthcare famously, but other places too now. So, okay, we know how to say it, but what is S-bar? Conceptually, what does it actually do?
Absolutely. Situation, background, assessment, recommendation. It's the most efficient way to present a problem and, crucially, demand a solution or a recommendation.
And it's standardized as a report, so the receiver knows exactly what kind of information is coming next. They can anticipate it.
Correct. But remember, is just the structure of the report itself. To ensure that report is actually understood and acted upon, you need something more, an enforcement mechanism almost.
And that's closed-loop communication.
That's it. Closed-loop communication is the overarching strategy. It's designed to really weaponize feedback, using verbal confirmation to guarantee messages are understood and actions get executed.
So it's about verifying, not just hoping the information landed.
No hope involved. Verification.
Okay, so closed loop is the back and forth, like a tennis match, making sure the point is scored.
Good analogy.
And closed loop breaks down into, 3 sub-strategies? Starting with callouts?
Yes, callouts first. And what's neat here is how callouts address 2 problems at once.
Okay.
Well, first, they communicate critical data like engine pressure dropping simultaneously to all team members. Everyone hears it.
So everyone's on the same page instantly.
Right. But critically, callouts also direct responsibility by name to the specific individual responsible for the next task.
Ah, okay. So it's not just engine pressure dropping. Engine pressure dropping. Sarah, run the bypass checklist.
Exactly that. You've shared the data and assigned clear ownership instantly.
Which eliminates that classic failure mode.
Oh, I thought someone else was doing it.
Precisely. That diffusion of responsibility just vanishes.
Okay, so after callouts, we have checkbacks.
Right. Now, the checkback is the specific closed-loop strategy used to ensure that information shared by one team member is correctly understood by another. This is pure verification.
But hang on, isn't that inefficient? In a real crisis, time is critical. Doesn't checking back slow things down?
That's a common concern, but the sources are pretty clear on this. That momentary delay for verification. It's seen as a massive investment in safety. It prevents potentially catastrophic errors.
Okay.
And the checkback exchange itself is simple. Sender says, give 10 cc of fluid X. Receiver explicitly says, okay, I heard 10 cc of fluid X, I am administering now. Then the sender confirms that's correct.
That slight pause eliminates the risk of, say, a misheard decimal point or the wrong drug entirely.
Exactly. It connects right back to that transaction model again. It forces the receiver to prove they understood, eliminating ambiguity before the action is taken. Okay, call-outs, checkbacks. What's the third one?
The third is teachback. Now, here the context shifts slightly, usually to the ultimate receiver of care or instructions, like a patient or their family.
Ah, okay. This is about ensuring they understand the plan.
Precisely. It confirms a clear explanation has been given and received.
And the critical element here isn't just asking, do you understand?
Right. The key is asking the recipient to explain the necessary information or actions back to you, but in their own words.
So just to make sure I explain clearly, can you tell me how you're going to take this medication?
Perfect example. If they can articulate the plan or the instructions correctly in their own words, then you know they've truly understood it. It's not just passive nodding.
That's a powerful safety check. Okay, so those are tools for immediate critical communication. Now, this is where, for me, it gets really interesting. Moving from those immediate needs to ensuring safe transitions. We've all experienced the misery of a bad project handoff. The moment the person leaves and everything just collapses because key context was lost.
Oh, yeah. The source material calls this the handoff, and it defines it very specifically. It's the standardized method for transferring information, along with authority and responsibility during transitions.
Authority and responsibility, that pairing seems key.
It's the core challenge. Just passing information isn't enough. You have to formally pass the baton of responsibility.
And the sources detail, what, 5 critical elements for making that transfer safe?
That's right, 5 essential elements. And we can kind of group them by the failures they prevent.
Okay, so the first one prevents the hit-and-run handoff, the walk-away.
Exactly, that's the first principle. Transfer of responsibility and accountability. The person handing off must know the receiver is aware they are assuming responsibility. And critically, the original person remains accountable until that transfer is confirmed. You can't just drop the chart or the file and walk away.
Okay, clear responsibility transfer. What's next?
The next couple address clarity and the channel you use. First, clarity of information. Any ambiguity about who's responsible for what needs to be cleared up before the transfer is complete? No gray areas.
And then the channel itself.
Yes. Verbal communication of information is often stressed. You need to use appropriate channels. You absolutely cannot just assume the receiver will read an email or understand some electronic note without explicit confirmation.
That feels huge in our digital world. We rely so much on sending things electronically.
We do. And this pushes back against that. It eliminates the dangerous assumption that a read receipt somehow equals transfer of authority or understanding.
So you need that human connection, that confirmation loop, which leads to the fourth element.
Acknowledgement by receiver. Responsibility cannot and should not be relinquished until the handoff is clearly understood and accepted by the receiver. This is especially critical for electronic handoffs. There needs to be an active acceptance step.
Got it. And the final element sounds like a built-in quality check.
It is. Opportunity to review. The handoff itself provides a natural moment for a fresh pair of eyes to evaluate the situation, looking for potential issues both for safety and for quality. It builds a fresh perspective right into the protocol.
Okay, 5 key elements for a safe handoff. But how do you actually do it? Is there a specific tool?
Yes, and the gold standard tool for this, used in many high-reliability organizations, is the mnemonic IPASS. IPASS. It forces a very linear, detailed transfer of information and, importantly, ownership.
Okay, let's walk through IPASS. What's the I stand for?
I is for illness severity. Right up front, you categorize the patient or the situation. Are they stable? A watcher, meaning needs close monitoring, or unstable?
So that immediately sets the tone. The level of concern for the incoming person?
Instantly. Then you move to P, which is patient summary, or project summary if you mapped it. This is the narrative part, but it has to be layered. It includes a summary statement, key events leading up to this transition.
The story so far.
Right. Plus, the ongoing treatment or action plan, the current assessment, and crucially, the contingency plan. What are we watching for?
So it covers past, present, and the potential future. That's comprehensive.
Very. Then you get really concrete with the action list. This is the literal to-do list. What needs to be done? It must include timelines and, again, ownership.
No ambiguity. Who does what by when?
No ambiguity allowed. Next is the first S, situation awareness and contingency planning. This is where the person handing off explicitly says, here's what I think is going on, big picture, and here's what might happen next.
It's the what-if preparation step. If X happens, then you should do Y.
Exactly. Preparing the receiver for potential changes or problems.
Okay, IPAS, what's the final S?
The final S brings it all home. It's synthesis by receiver. This is the final closed-loop check for the entire handoff.
Ah, so the person receiving the handoff now takes charge of the conversation.
Essentially, yes. The receiver summarizes what they heard, they ask clarifying questions, and they explicitly restate the key actions and the to-do items assigned to them.
Wow, so that final S is basically the practical execution of that acknowledgement by receiver principle we talked about earlier.
Precisely. You see how these tools aren't just isolated things. They build on each other. They reinforce those foundational principles, like verification.
That really is the core takeaway, isn't it? Communication isn't passive. It's not just talking at someone. It's an active, structured process. It requires specific, concrete tools like callouts, checkbacks, teachback, IPAS.
Right. These are the protocols that transform the inherent vagueness of human language into something much more reliable, almost like a military-grade system of verification and shared understanding.
They create a culture where verification, not just assumption, becomes the absolute norm.
And by doing that, they drastically reduce the chance of critical information being missed or misinterpreted or just lost in translation somewhere.
They turn vague instructions into concrete plans for shared action.
Exactly.
So, thinking beyond the immediate context of these sources, this knowledge applies much more broadly, right?
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. If these rigorous systems, like IPAS, are deemed necessary just to transfer care safely for one complex situation or patient, what important transitions happen in your own professional life? Or even personal life?
Like a complex project handoff at work.
Or even transferring guardianship of important family documents, maybe financial responsibilities.
Right. Things where clarity and responsibility are critical.
Could those transitions benefit from a more defined structure? Thinking deliberately about that transfer of responsibility, ensuring explicit acknowledgement, and maybe even doing a quick synthesis by receiver.
There's definitely something for all of us to mull over as we transition to whatever task is next.
Food for thought.